Recording in progress.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you so much for being here today at our very brief intro to IPE at Columbia. Thank you to everyone who came out to our kickoff event last week. We know we had a little bit of weather issues on the day, but so this will kind of take the place of describing what goes on at IPE and how you can get involved within your respective programs. So basically IPE is just a way for everyone to come together from all 10 different healthcare programs on campus, and here they are listed there. It's dental, medical, nursing, nutrition, OT, pastoral care, PT, public health, genetic counseling, and social work. So when we have events, we try to have representation equally from all of these programs just to encourage the most learning from and with one another.
Great. So here's some background to IPE at CUIMC. So Columbia Commons was founded in 2016 as a grant, which I didn't know, so that's pretty cool. So in recognition of the importance of interprofessional work, the deans of CUIMC agreed to fund the group to continue the work upon the end of the grant. So the philosophy and approach to IPE at Columbia is focused less on specific tasks by each role and more on shared values and ways to work together to produce better health care for the patients. And so the IPE seminar courses were founded to emphasize knowing how critical well-functioning teams are in healthcare. These seminars help to develop the wherewithal to work seamlessly, effectively, and respectively together. And the overall mission is to open up urgent questions about health, illness, and care while absorbing each of the multitude of perspectives on these topics.
Great. Now, why don't we break into like breakout rooms and take 5 minutes and get to know each other and mainly discuss what the favorite thing about our profession is, and then reconvene and maybe we can like discuss a few.
Okay, so thank you all for sharing as we come back to the main room. And now I will hand it over to Miranda.
Cool. So I'm glad everyone got a chance to chat. So yeah, so there's this for the IPE. This is introduction IPE, obviously. And so there's a lot of IPE opportunities at CUIMC. I know my group was just talking about some. But some of them are like this week-long course, ECUIMC, that started happening this week. There's IPE Day in the spring. There's shared classroom sessions, IPE seminar classes, and the IPE Student Advisory Board, which I believe all of us are on. I'm not, but I'm going to throw it now to myself to talk about the CUIMC program, which is, like I said, started this week. So this is a mandatory virtual introduction to IPE for all first-year students. I know I completed this last year. It's assigned 1 week of the semester, so there's a few weeks of it, but you only do 1 week of it. So this was the first week, and some students are doing it as we speak. And so basically you work in interprofessional teams to treat a patient with multidisciplinary considerations, and you learn about other professions and also other students. There's, discussion boards, and you can respond to other people. And I think it's a really good way just to see sort of what everyone's up to in the different schools. And so, yeah, so that's something to look out for if you have not started that already. And now I'm going to throw it to Michelle.
So IPE Day, as Miranda was mentioning, is in the spring, and the entire campus will suspend classes. So it's kind of a big deal. There'll be no clinicals, no classes, anything like that. And you will be expected to go to, I believe, one lecture and a few workshops. And so this past year it was virtual. But before that, it was in person. And so these are some of the photos of our in-person IPE Day. This year it is April 5th. So mark your calendars. There's a ton of different workshops that you could get involved with. They range on anything, and they'll make sure that whatever workshop you choose, it's with an interdisciplinary group of individuals. So you'll be able to work in small groups and kind of discuss things as they go along. So it's a great day and really emphasizes the importance of IPE at Columbia.
So the next thing that we also have is the shared classroom sessions, and individual schools or programs host these and take lead on organizing large shared classroom sessions that can accommodate from like 500 to 600 students from all professions. A panel of diverse professionals present a case study and discuss how they would address the health topic as a team. Students are then split into like small interdisciplinary groups to work in and through patient or population health issues. Some of the classroom sessions for the fall semester is the geriatric case study in the College of Physicians and Surgeons, and the gun violence case study at the Mailman School of Public Health.
Great. So the next opportunity at the IPE seminars. So in the spring, there are 4 IPE seminars. They're listed at the bottom: relationship of care and the spaces of care, aging and end of life, healthcare justice in the care of the underserved, and spirituality and healthcare. So they are smaller class sizes. So you'd really get to work closely with your fellow classmates. Again, only about like 64 students are selected to participate overall in the 4 courses, but like if you apply, you're only participating in 1. Sounds a little confusing. I'm happy to elaborate a little bit more. I participated in one of them in like 2 years ago, and I had a really great experience being able to hear a lot about other professions' experiences with healthcare justice and how certain professions would handle a certain case. And all these courses utilize narrative medicine. So writing a lot about your perspective, like what you're seeing and things like that. So that's just another one of those opportunities. And some of us have taken that course, and we're happy to share a lot about our experience.
So finally, to the most favorite part, the IPE Student Advisory Board. So the individuals that you've heard speaking tonight, we are of the executive committee, and we will introduce ourselves in just a moment. But basically, the purpose of the Student Advisory Board, often called the SAB, on campus is basically to just promote interprofessional education at the Columbia student level. So it's not something that's run by your professors. You're not really going to see any of your professors at the events. And it's just a way for us students to really get to network and learn from and with one another. And as mentioned before, we represent all of the 10 healthcare programs on campus. So some of these photos below are of our past events. On the very left side, that was one that we had done where we learned some healthcare Spanish, and we rotated through different groups. In the middle, it was an escape room hosted in the nursing building, and we had different sections and people kind of had to get through them. And this specific photo is when students were trying to put together a nutritious meal. And other of them, there was one where a student was a patient actor and had different symptoms, and people kind of had to diagnose what the issue was. That was obviously pre-COVID. And then on this right-hand side here, that's before one of the events that we had describing the connection between oral health and full body health. So we've done a ton of events, which we will also briefly mention later, but that is just the overall mission statement of the Student Advisory Board on campus.
Cool, yeah. So the Student Advisory Board hosts monthly events, basically, like Michelle was just saying, open to all students, and they combine fun, food, learning, and they're all centered around specific health topics. Some of the ones that I know I've been to were ones about gun violence. There was or others that are now, when I need them, not on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, there's a lot of different events run by different students from different professions, which I think they're really interesting just to see like what other students are thinking from different backgrounds. So we strive to have an event each month, and each student to leave the event with an enhanced awareness of their own role in a healthcare team, which I think the IPE curriculum and these events are really helpful in sort of helping you understand. Realistic expectations of the other professionals you're probably going to encounter while working in healthcare, better understanding of how communication with other health professionals helps to provide quality care to patients, stronger grasp of the challenges faced when working in interprofessional teams. It's not always, roses and daisies. Sometimes there's going to be some conflict because we all come from different backgrounds and different ways of thinking. But I think that's sort of part of the reason that working together can really enhance patient care. And a better understanding of how knowledge of interprofessional roles really helps to mitigate challenges and improve teamwork. I think that's a really valuable part of the IPE events, is sort of this teamwork element and sort of hearing all these different perspectives.
Yes, so as Miranda mentioned, so a lot of the values and the mission and the goal of IPE Student Advisory Board is seen through the events that we have put on. So amidst being virtual last year, we were still able to put on a year's worth of programming and events that was able to bring together students from all different professions. And so, as you can see, we do our best to have one event per month, and each profession kind of can sponsor or take the lead, so to say, on the event. So for example, as Michelle mentioned, School of Nursing has always done an escape room, and yes, it can be virtual. So we did have a virtual escape room that took place over Zoom early this year, and it went pretty well. And so again, our hope is to have events that allow students to learn more about other professions within different contexts. So again, like as you can see, we had death, dying, and living. So a lot about palliative care. And one thing also about these events, it's faculty are also welcome to attend. And also if your faculty if you feel like you're sitting in a class and certain faculty members really passionate about a certain topic, having them come on and speak can definitely be a student advisory board event. So just kind of thinking as you're sitting in class, or I don't know, reading and learning, just thinking of certain ways that students can really continue on their learning outside of like what their certain curricula are.
So this is who we are on the executive committee. So the executive committee, we have a faculty advisor as well as 2 now IPE coordinators as of last month. And then myself, I'm the president. Sarah, who just spoke, is the vice president. Miranda is on the executive board, and Jyoti sits on the steering board, which is basically our link between students and faculty. So that's a really great way if you want to get involved. Within our executive committee, we also have a general board, which we'll speak on in just a moment. And the general board, we like to have at least one person per profession per graduating year, if that makes sense. So if you're in, like, for example, the School of Dental Medicine, it's a 4-year program. We like to have a first year, second year, third year, fourth year, just so all the information about the events actually gets relayed to your class, and that your class's interests get relayed back to us. So if there's anything specific you'd like to see this year, this is the time. You can throw it in the chat. If you're like, I really want to see a topic focusing on X, Y, or Z, put it in there now. Also, if you don't, you can message us privately later. That's totally fine. And we'll keep this chat box open for a little bit as we continue to go. So yes, we always are famous for having good food. If you guys came out to the kickoff, we had Chip City, which are these like giant cookies that apparently rival Levain's. So I hope you all got some of those. But yeah, any topics or themes you'd like to see, just let us know and we will work to make those happen.
Great. So again, you are all welcome to join our listserv. Our email is right there, as well as if you have any ideas for events that you'd like to see, please feel free to email us at our Gmail. We also have an Instagram account at Columbia IPE. You can see some of our past events on the Linktree account that's on our Instagram page as well. So if you wanted more detail about some of the events we put on in the past, you're more than welcome to check that out. Also, if you would like to join our student advisory board, we have extended the deadline to the 12th, which is next Tuesday. So if you have attended, while you are here on this Zoom meeting, and you are interested in joining our student advisory board, just go ahead and scan the QR code and the application will come up.
So I'll leave it on this screen for just a moment. The next slide is just our last slide. And that is just all of our faculty contacts in the different healthcare programs. So that's who you can reach out to if you ever need someone to speak to on the faculty level. On the student level, it's the four of us. So feel free to reach out, and any more ideas, put them in the chat. If you put them into the Google form when you RSVP'd, we will also be glad to speak to those. I will go to these very quickly if anyone wants to take a screenshot. And then I just wanted to briefly address some of the questions that people had before RSVPing for this event. So I know one of the questions was about CUIMC and whether or not this is a course for credit. And the answer is it kind of depends on your program. So certain programs are requiring you to do the course and just have a completion grade because it is pass fail, and they will give you credit for doing that. It is mandatory now for, I believe, all of our 10 healthcare professions. So it is something you have to do, but how your specific profession will actually grade it, that would be a question for your IPE faculty contact. The question regarding what will we be doing during the assigned IPE week and how many are in the groups, I think Miranda discussed about ECUIMC, and there's interdisciplinary case study that you'll go through, and the groups are about 10 students. So that is a way to get to know other people, and there also is a social. And then our IPE courses counted towards our GPA. The answer is no, because they are pass fail, but the seminars, the same as well. So they will show up on your transcript, but they will not have a grade associated with them. If there are any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat now. And if not, I know we're getting to our 7:30 time. Those of you who are taking ECUIMC this week, I know you might have a social to get to at 7:30. But yeah, if there's any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat or unmute yourself or whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, and with that, if anyone has anything else to add.
So I noticed that there's a question in the chat. I'm not too familiar with how the dentistry program works, so I don't want to speak on behalf of anyone who is on there. Will you be emailing the slides?
So I can speak to the dentistry. I think that was an idea for a topic to discuss. So that's great. I wrote that down. So thank you for that suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah. And yes, we will be emailing the slides and recording out.
Okay, and I apologize if I pronounce your name wrong. Nitika, you have a question?
Yes, it's perfectly correct. It's Nitika. So yeah, so I have already sent an email I've already applied for the student advisory board. By when do you think that we would be getting the results for that?
On the 13th.
Okay.
Send the deadline after this meeting. Yeah, so we'll send out an email afterwards, but thank you for your interest.
And second thing I wanted to ask, I was very curious when I, in the slides, when I saw something about this spirituality and healthcare. So basically, what are you planning to do on that? I mean, that is something which is like so intriguing.
So that's one of those IPE seminars. I actually did take that seminar, as I've taken spirituality and healthcare as well as aging and end of life. They were both super cool. The spirituality and healthcare focused a lot on how a lot of different cultures view ending, like the end of life, and also how every culture kind of views healthcare and whether or not there's things that are more palliative or things that we can do prophylactically. So that was something that if you are interested in applying for that seminar, when those applications open, I believe they will be in December, November. Sarah, it looks like she knows.
It's like November, December. Just keep your eye out. Usually it would be sent through a mass listserv when the applications come out. So it should be by the end of the semester.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that'll be great.
and we'll have, you can rank in order of your preference, the seminars that you would like to attend, and write a little response about why you want to attend it. And it's awesome. It's a really also, like, I guess, elite group of people because it is pretty selective. So if you do have the opportunity to take a seminar, it is a really great experience. And I highly recommend everyone try to do one of those during their time at Columbia.
Definitely, I would definitely love to be a part of it. And yeah, and so one request, like whenever you all send the information on that, could you all send some description also on each, like spirituality and healing, like whatever you all are planning, just a few sentences so that, you know, we
So
know
that-
the content.
Sure. So that will be sent through the faculty part of the IPE,
Okay.
not necessarily us, but yes, they definitely include a description of each of the seminars and what you'll be getting into.
Okay, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for your questions. Okay, so I know we're almost at 7:30. So if there are no other questions, definitely feel free to email us and we will be sending out the recording and slides tonight. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining.